Daniel's phone buzzed, a message from an unknown channel. ASHLINE Phase 2, active primary objective. Emma Hale. Emma read it. Her hands stopped shaking. "If they want me," she said, "then we stop running." Daniel looked at her, fear and pride tearing him apart. Season 2 was no longer about exposing the truth. It was about protecting it at all costs. When the truth makes you a target, the truth went public, and then people started dying. Daniel Cross was no longer a ghost. He was a liability. News channels called him a whistleblower. Online forums called him a hero. Government statements called him unstable. But Emma knew the real word. Hunted, 3 months after the leak, the coastal house was quiet but never peaceful. Daniel woke up before sunrise every day. Not because he wanted to, because his body never forgot how to listen for danger. The wound in his side had healed, but the pain stayed. Pain was honest. Emma stood by the window, watching the horizon. "They froze my accounts," she said quietly. "Medical board too." Daniel didn't look up. "They're isolating you. They're punishing me." Silence settled between them, the kind that comes after surviving something together. The phone rang once. Encrypted line, Daniel answered. A woman's voice, calm, professional. "Mr. Cross, if you're still alive, you need to leave." Daniel closed his eyes. "Who is this?" "Someone who cleaned up after Night Haven," she said. "And someone who doesn't want to anymore." A pause. "They're reactivating the program. New name, same methods." Emma's face went pale. "They're doing it again," she whispered. The price of truth that night. A car slowed outside the house. Too slow. Daniel pulled Emma down just as glass shattered. Shots tore through the living room. They escaped through the back, barefoot, hearts pounding, the ocean swallowing the sound of sirens. As they hid in the rocks, soaked and shaking, Emma finally broke. "We told the truth," she cried. "Why isn't it enough?" Daniel wrapped his arms around her. "Because the truth doesn't end wars," he said. "It just starts new ones." A new enemy. Hours later, safe but cornered, Daniel received a file, no sender. Inside, photos, dates, coordinates, and one line typed at the bottom. "If you want this to stop, you'll have to finish it." Daniel stared at the screen. Season 1 was about survival. Season 2 would be about consequences. Fire end of episode 1. Cliffhanger. Emma looks at Daniel and asks the question he feared most. "How many people will have to die before we're free?" Daniel doesn't answer, because this time he doesn't know. The ones who silenced the witnesses. Daniel didn't answer Emma's question, because the truth was he already knew the number wouldn't be small. The woman from the call. They moved before dawn. No lights, no digital trails, no goodbyes. By noon, Daniel and Emma were inside a forgotten town, half abandoned, erased from maps by budget cuts and time. The kind of place where people didn't ask questions because they'd already learned the cost. The meeting point was a closed train station. She was waiting, mid-40s, short blonde hair, calm eyes that had seen too much and survived by learning when not to blink. "My name is Claire Novick," she said, "former internal security." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Former." She nodded. "I helped bury Night Haven and 5 others like it." Emma stared at her. "How many people did you silence?" Claire didn't hesitate. "Enough to stop sleeping." With a new program inside the station, Claire laid out files across a dusty bench. New name, new funding. New faces, same outcome, doctors, journalists, aid workers, anyone who saw too much. They call it Project ASHLINE now, Claire said, because Ash doesn't testify. Emma felt sick, Daniel felt cold. Why tell us? Daniel asked. Claire met his eyes. Because this time they're cleaning witnesses before the crimes even happen. With the list, Claire slid one final tablet across the table. Names, photos, locations. At the top of the list, Emma Hale. Emma froze. "They're coming for me," she whispered. Claire shook her head. "No, they're already here." With the first strike, gunfire shattered the station windows. Too precise, too quiet, professional, Daniel pulled Emma down as bullets punched through concrete. Claire drew a pistol, moving like muscle memory never faded. "They found us faster than I thought," she said. Daniel scanned exits. 3 shooters, minimum. This wasn't an arrest. This was erasure. Trussed under fire, they escaped through an underground maintenance tunnel, breath ragged, footsteps echoing behind them. Emma stumbled. Daniel caught her. "I won't run anymore," Emma said between breaths. "They'll just keep killing people like me." Daniel stopped. In the dark, he looked at her, not as someone he had to protect, but as someone who had already chosen her side. "Then we don't run," he said. "We expose them before they reach the others." Claire listened, and for the first time she smiled. The decision. Outside, rain covered their tracks. Claire handed Daniel a drive. "This contains internal kill orders," she said. "Names, signatures, timestamps." Emma's voice was steady now. "We leak it." Claire shook her head. "Not yet. If you move too fast, they vanish again." Daniel understood. This wasn't about truth anymore. It was about timing. Fire end of episode 2, cliffhanger that night. Daniel checked the list again. One name near the bottom caught his eye. A name he hadn't seen in years. A man who was supposed to be dead. Marcus Reed. Emma looked over his shoulder. "You know him?" Daniel swallowed. "He taught me how to disappear," he said. "And if he's on their list," his voice broke, "then this war just became personal again." Czar. Endi Season 2 Angzavfli Nuktaga Karate, Ishyanch Sanovi, Eski Duzti, Adamali Ziyanat, Davam Etaramas. The man who taught him to disappear, Daniel hadn't said Marcus Reed's name out loud in 3 years. Some names carry weight. Some reopen scars. This one did both. The safe house. They moved again before sunrise. Claire led them to a rural safe house buried behind an abandoned orchard. No signals, no cameras, just silence and the smell of wet soil. Emma sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the list. "Why would they want Marcus dead?" She asked quietly. Daniel leaned against the wall. "Because Marcus doesn't disappear," he said. "He teaches others how to." Claire looked between them. "Then he's either your greatest asset or your executioner." Flashback, years earlier, desert heat, dust in the air. Marcus stood over Daniel, bleeding but smiling. "Rule 1, Marcus said, handing him a burner phone. "If someone tells you they're the only way out, they're lying." Daniel remembered that lesson well. The message Daniel powered up an old device he hadn't touched since the war. One last frequency, one last code. Minutes passed. Then the screen lit up. "Unknown, you're late." Emma felt her chest tight. "That's him?" Daniel nodded. Daniel, they're hunting witnesses again. A pause, then, unknown, I know, I'm watching you right now. Emma stood. Claire reached for her weapon. Daniel raised his hand. No, he said, that's Marcus. The meeting, they didn't choose the location. Marcus did. An underground parking structure half collapsed, forgotten by the city. Marcus stepped out of the shadows, older, leaner, eyes sharper than Daniel remembered. Still alive, Marcus said. You always were stubborn. Daniel stepped forward. They put you on the list. Marcus smiled faintly. Means I'm still useful. The truth Marcus carried. Marcus laid out his cards fast. ASHLINE wasn't just killing witnesses. It was rewriting events before they happened. Fake evidence, false medical reports, pre-written obituaries. They don't erase the truth, Marcus said. They replace it. Emma felt sick. So no one ever knows there was a crime, she whispered. Marcus nodded. And you, Emma, are the last uncontrollable variable. The choice returns. Marcus turned to Daniel. You can still walk away, he said. Disappear, new names, new lives. Daniel looked at Emma, at Claire, at the list. No, he said, I already tried surviving. Marcus studied him, then nodded once. Then we burn the system. The betrayal, the shot came from above. Concrete exploded. Chaos. Marcus shoved Daniel aside as bullets rained down. Emma screamed. Claire fired back. Smoke filled the structure. Marcus grabbed Daniel's jacket. They traced Claire, he shouted. Someone here is compromised. Claire froze. Emma's eyes filled with fear. Daniel looked between them, realizing the most dangerous truth of all. The enemy wasn't just outside. It was already with them. Fire. End of episode 3. Cliffhanger. As they escaped into the night, Marcus whispered, by morning, one of us will be dead. Daniel didn't ask who, because he already knew the answer wouldn't spare his heart. Someone among us is already dead by morning. The city looked normal. That was the most terrifying part. People drank coffee. Traffic moved. Life continued, unaware that somewhere beneath it, a decision had already been made about who deserved to exist. Daniel hadn't slept. Neither had Emma. Marcus sat alone near the window, dismantling and reassembling a pistol, not because he needed to, but because his hands remembered how to stay calm when his mind couldn't. Claire stood apart from them, too still. The question no one asked: who was compromised? Emma finally asked. No one answered. Daniel watched Claire carefully. Her breathing was controlled, too controlled, like someone waiting for something inevitable. Marcus broke the silence. They didn't follow us randomly, he said. That strike was surgical. Claire met his gaze, then one of us leaked. Daniel felt the weight of the words press against his chest. Not intentionally, he said. Marcus shook his head slowly. Intent doesn't matter when people die. The proof: Marcus connected a device to Claire's tablet. Data streams appeared, pings, coordinates. Emma leaned closer. That location, she whispered. That's where we met you. Claire didn't deny it. They implanted a tracker, she said quietly. Years ago, I didn't know it was still active. Marcus's jaw clenched. They don't keep things inactive. With a confession, Claire sat down heavily. I helped erase people, she said. I told myself it was containment, damage control. Daniel listened, heart pounding. And now? He asked. Claire looked at Emma. Now I see faces, I hear voices, and I know they'll never stop as long as I exist in their system. Emma's eyes filled with tears. "You're trying to make this right," she said. Claire nodded. "But I won't get to walk away." The choice no one wanted. They heard the drones before they saw them. A low hum, closer than expected. Marcus swore under his breath. They triangulated her signal. Claire stood. "I'll lead them away." Daniel stepped forward. "That's suicide." Claire smiled sadly. "No," she said, "it's accountability." Emma grabbed her arm. "You don't have to die to be sorry." Claire's voice cracked for the first time. "I do." The sacrifice Claire ran, drones followed. The shots echoed through the streets. Daniel wanted to chase her, but Marcus stopped him. "If you go," Marcus said quietly, "Emma dies next." Minutes later, an explosion shook the air. Silence followed. Emma collapsed to her knees. Daniel closed his eyes. Someone among them had been dead long before the shot was fired. Aftermath, they moved before the sirens arrived. In the car, Emma stared out the window. "She chose this," she said softly. Daniel nodded. "But she shouldn't have had to." Marcus looked back at them. "Now there's no buffer," he said. "No misdirection." Daniel understood. They weren't witnesses anymore. They were targets with names. Fire end of episode 4, cliffhanger. Daniel's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown channel. ASHLINE Phase 2, active primary objective. Emma Hale. Emma read it. Her hands stopped shaking. "If they want me," she said, "then we stop running." Daniel looked at her, fear and pride tearing him apart. Season 2 was no longer about exposing the truth. It was about protecting it at all costs. They do kill you first, they break you. They didn't come with guns. That was how Daniel knew it was worse. The trap. They moved Emma to a new location before sunrise. No digital trail, no patterns. Marcus planned every turn like a chessboard already stained with blood. "This place buys us time," Marcus said. Daniel didn't answer. Time was exactly what ASHLINE used best. Emma sat on the edge of the bed, calm in a way that scared Daniel more than panic ever could. "They won't just kill me," she said quietly. "They'll try to make me disappear without a body." Daniel knelt in front of her. "Not while I'm breathing." She touched his face. "That's what scares me." The first cut. The attack came through her past, a news alert, then another. Volunteer nurse linked to war. CRIMES, witness credibility under review. Former AID worker accused of fabricating evidence. Emma's face drained of color. "They're rewriting me," she whispered. Daniel crushed the phone in his hand. "They can't touch the truth." "They don't need to," Marcus said from the doorway. "They just need people to stop believing you." Isolation. By noon, Emma's former colleagues began posting statements. Some forced, some paid, some afraid. Each one cut deeper than the last. Emma stopped answering messages. She stopped eating. At night, Daniel heard her crying silently in the bathroom. That was the moment he realized this wasn't about killing her. It was about making her ask to disappear. Daniel's breaking point. Daniel confronted Marcus in the kitchen. "We end this," Daniel said. "Now." Marcus's eyes were tired. "By doing what? Killing shadows?" Daniel slammed his fist into the wall. "I'll burn every system they have." Marcus stepped closer. "And then they'll burn her." Silence swallowed them both. The choice Emma makes that night. Emma packed a bag. Daniel found her at the door. "No," he said. "They'll never stop," she replied. "But they might stop if I'm gone." Daniel's voice broke. "I already lost you once." She stepped closer, tears running freely now. "This time I'm choosing." She kissed him, slow, desperate, final. "Love shouldn't cost this much," she whispered. Daniel held her like he could anchor the world, but love was never armor. The message. As Emma reached for the door, Marcus's phone rang. Encrypted, priority, he answered once, then swore softly. "They activated phase 3, he said. Daniel's blood went cold. "That means," Marcus met his eyes, "they don't want her erased anymore. They want an example." Fire end of episode 5, cliffhanger outside, headlights appeared at the end of the road. Too many, too organized. Emma turned back toward Daniel. "If I don't survive this," she said, "promise me you won't let them rewrite who I was." Daniel pulled her close, his voice shaking with rage and love. "They won't touch your story," he said, "even if I have to end mine to protect it." The knock came at the door, and this time they weren't asking. Some wars end in silence. The knock came again, calm, controlled, the kind of knock that didn't expect resistance because resistance had already been calculated. Daniel moved first. He didn't reach for a weapon, he reached for Emma's hand. "Whatever happens," he said quietly, "stay behind me." Emma shook her head. "No," she whispered. "Not this time." The confrontation, the door opened. 3 people stood outside, no uniforms, no insignia, professional erasers. "We're not here for you," the woman in front said calmly. "We're here to conclude." Daniel stepped forward. "You want her," he said. "You go through me." The woman's expression didn't change. "That's already scheduled." Marcus's last move, a shot rang out not at them, at the lights. Darkness swallowed the house. Marcus moved like instinct itself. Smoke, shouting, confusion. Daniel felt Emma's hand slip from his. "Emma," he shouted, then silence. The choice that ends wars. When the lights returned, Marcus was on the floor, bleeding, alive but not for long. They were never going to take her, Marcus gasped. They were going to make her disappear quietly. Daniel knelt beside him. "And you?" Marcus smiled faintly. "I was always the distraction." He pressed a drive into Daniel's hand. "Everything," he whispered. "Not just ASHLINE, all of it." Marcus's eyes closed. This time he didn't disappear. After Emma was gone, no struggle, no blood, just absence. Daniel searched for days, weeks. He didn't sleep. Didn't eat until the drive went live. The broadcast, the leak didn't explode. It spread, slow, relentless, undeniable. Names fell, programs collapsed. Quiet resignations turned into public arrests. ASHLINE ended, not with a headline, but with a shutdown notice buried deep in bureaucracy. The way dirty wars always end. The letter months later, Daniel received an envelope, no return address. Inside was a single page, Emma's handwriting. "If you're reading this, it means they failed to erase me completely. I made a choice so you wouldn't have to keep making them alone. Love isn't what survives war. It's what gives people the courage to end it." Daniel closed his eyes. For the first time since the war, he cried. Final scene, Daniel stood by the sea at dawn. Same place, different man. He released the letter into the water and watched the waves carry it away. The truth was out. The system was wounded. And Emma had become something they could never silence. Dove final line, Season 2, some wars don't end with victory. They end when someone refuses to disappear.